Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. Hello. So, it's going to be fun today. So cool. Okay, so this whole, okay. My name is Janet Wright. I'm an energy healer. And during this live stream, I will be healing 142 people. Let me look at my notes. 142 people in 9 different countries. I know it. I'll bring them out anyway. Thank you. Thank you for my confirmation. So anyway, 9 different countries, and I'm going to do the country count this time. I really missed the country count last time. I know most of you did not, but I just think it's cute. So okay, so then the countries that the people I'm healing are in, I read them out. Gotta find it. Okay. 109 people that I'll be healing are in the US. 6 people are in the United Arab Emirates. 6 people in Canada, 6 people in the UK, 5 people in Qatar, 5 people in South Korea, 3 people in Ukraine, 1 in Norway, and 1 in Japan. So hello, hello, hello to all the people that I'll be healing in this healing, and also the second healing in this twin set, which is in 3 days on. And so for those of you unclear on it, the people I'm healing is not anybody that's watching live, although there's a lot of overlap with that, but it's the people that purchased this set of 2 healings called the November twin set that was for sale on my website up until actually yesterday. So right now, the December sets of healings and the January sets of healings are on my website. jwhealing.com is my website. JW for Janet Wright, which is me. Okay, so the theme is discipline, consistent action, working towards and achieving your goals. Because sometimes in spirituality, we talk about manifesting, and it kind of, it can seem like, well, if you just get your chakras just right, it's just going to pop into existence. You'll manifest, right? And sometimes that is literally true, but other times there's a goal. Sorry, I got to center myself in the camera. But other times, you have to work towards the goal. There's like a multi-step situation, and you have to, kind of break it up and think of like, okay, this is step 1, I got to achieve this, I work towards that. This is step 2, I got to achieve that. And not only that, sometimes it's, especially in the case of like physical fitness, muscles and stuff like that, you need, you need to, work towards those goals in strenuous ways, not meditative ways. I mean, you can meditate also, but you need to actually, sweat over and over and over again to work towards it. And the idea also of it's not all like peace and rose petals, sometimes to work towards a goal. You have to push yourself through resistance, through really not wanting to do something in order to do it. Sometimes it just seems impossible. So then, energy healing and clearing can help to make it more possible, but still there will be some level of where you have to kind of consciously like be your older sister or be your older brother and kind of walk yourself into the action, because it doesn't feel easy to do. whatever it is, like putting away your clothes, getting on the treadmill, or lifting some weights, or studying. So the idea of, kind of having, discipline. That's how we're going to work on it. So that's the theme, and we did work on it already in the triplet set, and it did, I think for a decent number of people, they already saw clear results. You may have also had some results that are kind of like, they're not theme related, but they're from the last healing set. If you did it, the November triplet set, the one that was right before this month, also on the same theme. Because we worked, well, because the last healing in particular, there were two things that were kind of big. One was sort of dismantling a system of curses in your space that you maybe picked up in a past life. And there's some curses that are more complex than just, a couple chunks of energy that have been in your aura the whole time. There are actual invasive beings that work to maintain that curse effect, and so we worked on having angels recycle the curse maintaining beings in those more complex lasting curses, so that they don't screw you up anymore. And that was huge. And I think we will do that in every set throughout the rest of this calendar year. So in this set, just not today, but then also in the, one of the healings in the December triplet and December twin, and then one of the healings in the January triplet and January twin set. We'll keep doing that, having angels recycle first maintaining beings. But today, I think we won't do that. I think today, so that was, later I'll make all this into video chapters. But that was, talking about the theme and the country count. But now, but today, there's a concept I want to work, which is very theme related, which is forward momentum. And I was discussing this with my husband, and he said that it's a sports concept also, a forward momentum, and like a team, and they call it the big mo for momentum. That, a team in sports, I'm going to mess it up as I explained, but it's like if a team has won a couple games already, then they get the big mo, and they can win more. They have a thought that, like, in sports that success is contagious, and winning is contagious, and also that losing is contagious. Which in energy work, I would say can be true. But what I would say in energy work, you want to be able to generate forward momentum kind of out of nothing. You don't want to have to, because how do you start winning? Like as far as productivity or achieving your goals, well, you have to win a couple times, right? And, and then you get your big mo, you get your forward momentum in like the sports sense, but you want to be able to start your forward momentum by having your successes, right? So how do you do that with spirituality, with, psychology and all that? I'm not a master of psychology, of course, but I just dabble. but it's like you do baby steps. Like rather than having a giant goal, you break it up into a bunch of goals and you make sure your goals are so doable that you can rack up some easy wins, easier wins, and then, you can remind yourself, hey, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and so, if you break up forward momentum, I think that, there's mood is a part of it. Part of that is waking up mood, like how you wake up at the start of the day, your mood when you wake up. I think that's a big deal. I don't think that's all that's necessary for forward momentum, because some people wake up feeling great and then like at some point during the day their mood just takes a nosedive and that's it. They're toast. Usually that's because of damage, so ideally they would just redo their 5 essentials and get that momentum back. But a lot of people don't know that, they're just like, oh, whatever, it just happened, so they don't think, oh yeah, creative ring damage, chakra damage, let me do my 5 essentials. But ideally that's what you would do. But anyway, so your mood, your overall mood when you wake up, but in general, during the day, your motivation, your clarity, your confidence, and your joy. Confidence is something we will work more in, I believe it's in December's healings. You could check out jwhealing.com to see those, to be sure, to see both themes for December and January. But I believe December is intuition and confidence, which is a cool combo. But anyway, confidence, joy, clarity, motivation. Those I would say are like components of forward momentum. What makes forward momentum, but also identity cleanse is something that I want to do because today as well, which for some people that may be even more consequential than the forward momentum, than working the forward momentum. They may get better, but I mean, whatever, we'll do both. So identity cleanse is like, you may have stuff from other people, either individuals you grew up with or your culture or, the religious organization your family was a part of when you grew up or whatever, or past life stuff, but you may have stuff that's not yours in your identity space, that is getting in the way of your forward momentum. Part of that is like, do you have failure baggage? Are you more likely to think that something's your fault, that it's like that you're bad, you did something wrong, or you're not good enough, and so we're going to work that with the identity cleanse stuff. So some of it has to do with self-esteem, but I think we'll work on it on an identity level. Identity is 7th chakra, and 7th chakra is also goals and empowerment and inspiration, and it's the first energy center you come into when you wake up. And so I think the combination of those two, cleansing out your identity and also working the other, forward momentum, clearing and healing to enhance that, I think could be a really nice combo for helping with discipline, consistent action, and working towards and achieving your goals. And I have an example. Well, yeah, I could put the cleanse. So an example is actually what happened to me in the last healing. I didn't know it was from the last healing though, which, people that get these healings might resonate with that. It's like really later you realize like, oh yeah, we did work that in that healing. But in the last healing, in addition to the curse removal, having the beings recycled that are curse maintaining beings, and then doing extra repairs and stuff after that, so that those curses don't affect you anymore. In addition to that, we healed identity and self-esteem as gardens. 2 different gardens that kind of work together. No, self-love, identity and self-love gardens. And for me, I think the identity part of it was a big one. And what happened was, since that healing, which has been, only a week, but since that healing, it's like different things have kind of clicked, because I have, I don't have conventional depth perception. Like I just have to look at shading, and if one object kind of overlaps the other, then you can tell that the one that overlaps it is closer to you, and you can see sometimes, well, most of the time there's shading that will kind of give a hint as to information that you would normally get through depth perception. But anyway, I thought, and car sickness. So I don't have depth perception, and I also am prone to car sickness, very significant car sickness, if I'm not driving the car. And I always thought that it was, childhood traumas. I haven't finished clearing them. I got to keep working on it. I mean, I knew the depth perception stuff was probably because I had eye surgery when I was 5 on both eyes, which apparently was not really recommended by most ophthalmologists. But then my birth parents were like so determined that they found this kind of shady ophthalmologist that did it. So potentially a shady surgery. Because of that, I don't have depth perception, or maybe I didn't have depth perception even before then, and the surgery was sort of to just make it look like my eyes were great. But either way, like I didn't realize that the surgery and or the brain issue before the surgery even meant that I didn't have depth perception, and the absence of depth perception made me more prone to being car sick. Like no one had ever explained that to me. And apparently people without depth perception are more likely to get nauseous and car sick and dizzy and bump into things. And I totally bump into things. I'll like bump into a wall when I'm walking by it. Or I'll bump into my husband, The other day, we have a pretty small kitchen, and I mean it's fine for us, but I bumped into him the other day, like kind of like back to back. I just kind of bumped into him, and he's like, "Did you mean to do that?" I was like, "No," but it ended up being kind of like a sort of a backwards hug kind of a concept, But so long story short, the thing is, I there was a lot of emotional head games in my childhood. Let's put it lightly, right? And so I had junk in my identity space, making me think that, I'm kind of this weak, defective person, and so that's why I get car sick. I'm like, I haven't finished clearing my childhood traumas, and and I'm kind of defective, and that's why I bump into things all the time. And so I didn't actually do the research to Google, a couple times. It's taken me, maybe 15 minutes total, just Googling different, links. And apparently it's very standard, like, and it's scientific. It has nothing to do with, me being a loser or me being defective in some like, like an idiot, or just that I haven't cleared enough baggage yet from my childhood. It's none of the above. It's like literally, neural areas of your brain that have to do with coordinating eye vision, and or it was a botched surgery, that I did get when I was 5. Sorry, that's for my dog's medication, which my husband's going to take care of. But anyway, it's like if you have people's junk in your identity, it can really cause you to view yourself and issues that you have in your daily life in a really like stuck, unproductive way. Like I didn't realize all those things are like just basic science, that people without depth perception are more likely to get car sick. People, blah, 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 blah. And there can be things that you take personally that you don't need to take personally, like, which is why I talked about like your failure baggage. So, in working towards your goals, right, there will be some times when, a project doesn't work out, or say you want to get 4 tasks done today and you get 1.5 done instead. If you have too much junk in your identity and or too much failure baggage, you will take that information that you did 1.5 tasks and take a glass half empty view of it, which is, going to make you lose your big your motivation, your forward momentum for next time. So we're going to work on clearing failure baggage, but also cleansing your identity of other people's junk, and old junk that just doesn't serve you, that maybe is yours but still doesn't work for you anymore. So cleanse your identity. So hope that makes sense. I think it will. I think it'll help. Make you able to do tasks and figure out tasks that are easily achievable, and then have a more glass half full, motivational, be able to uplift yourself better. So that's that. That's what we're doing today. Now, how we're doing it with what techniques, no idea. I'll figure it out when we get there. The angels will show me sample people, and then I'll read those things, and then I'll know how we're doing what we're doing. But that's what we're doing. I just don't know how yet. But it'll be cool, I'm sure. So hope that makes sense. That will be working forward momentum and identity cleansing and clearing failure baggage. To help with discipline, consistent action, working towards and achieving your goals. Yay! Ooh, yay. Now we know what we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and look at pre-healing comments, and then we'll do 3 minutes of quiet immediately before the healing. And towards the end of the quiet, I'll start the healing without talking, and then I'll talk as I heal for the rest of the healing. And so it will function, it sort of doubles as an all levels healing walkthrough if you want to just watch and heal yourself at the same time. You definitely can. Even if I'm healing you, you won't get in the way. Healing yourself at the same time. A lot of people like doing that. They like healing themselves while I'm healing them. But you don't have to. Other people just take a nap or clean their house or, work on other things while they're receiving the healing. So, and like I said, within a day-ish, there'll be video chapters. My fantasy is I just leave it all till tomorrow, but then usually I feel bad like that, I want people to have this information as soon as possible. And if there's an outline and video chapters, maybe helpful, but we'll see. Someday it's up in the air whether I'm going to do any work tonight after this healing as far as making video chapters and an outline, or if I will just put it off till tomorrow and chill out. Right. Okay, so pre-healing chat comments. Let's do it. Okay, thank you for your confirmation. Hey, Janet, we can see and hear you in rainy Ojai, California. Ojai, I've never heard of that place. That's cool. 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, I would take that. We have rainy and 42 probably here. Oh, I do have an interesting hat update, but I'm going to save it till the end. Don't hate me. I will save it till the end because I've already rambled plenty right now. But there will be an interesting cat update at the end of this live stream, which will later be its own chapter, so you could hop right to it within a day. All right. Hey, Janet. Hey, back to you. Hello, hello. This is hello, Janet. The good mood persists since the last healing. Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I think the curse removal stuff was huge. The, having the angels recycle curse maintaining beings. Like, who knew? Oh, and I will say, though, along those lines, I was kind of relieved that when I was looking at surveys of people, about from the last healing, as I prepared for this healing, which is how I do it, that I was pleasantly surprised at how like non-freaked out people were that we worked on that. Usually I think that like, oh, everyone's gonna just run screaming terrified when I say the word curse, when I talk about that, we're gonna get them out of you, that's just too scary for people. But apparently my clients are tough as nails and they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get rid of them. So that was a relief because I saw that it would really help people, but I just wasn't sure, like, consciously if people would be a little bit freaked. But at least if they were freaked, they didn't fill out a survey. But if you are freaked ever about what I'm talking about, fill out a survey. Let me know because, it's helpful. Okay. So, hi from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Well, hello back to you. 44 and rainy. Yeah, that's maybe what we have right now. In the Pacific Northwest where I am in the US. So it's this. Hello, Janet. 30 degrees Fahrenheit and 6:41 p.m. in Ottawa, Canada. Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Well, hello to you. Yeah, it turns out Canada mainly wants people in the medical professions and professors and engineers, none of which I am, unfortunately. I was hoping Canada would want me. But Canada does not want me. I was hoping we could heal our brains, neuro pathways. Don't think that fits in with today. Yeah, that doesn't fit with today. But you could keep mentioning it in surveys if you want. Just also hand it to your angels so you're not handing it in my brain, Just give it to the angels. Because the angels, are like 80% of the planners of these healings, and then I'm the 20%. So just keep asking your angels. Alrighty. Okay, so we will do the 3 minutes of quiet before the healing now. Okay, thanks for waiting. Okay, so you have a big hand chakra in the palm of each hand, and then you have a hand chakra in each fingertip. Set those particular chakras to metallic gold color. You do this with your intention or your thought. Being able to see energy is not necessary. That comes later. The more present you get, you can see gradual. So just set your hand chakras and your fingertip tip chakras to metallic gold color, and that will that will mean that those chakras then are generating gold light because they're generating energy anyway. But if you set them to gold, then that's the color they're generating. Generate gold light. Why would we care? Because gold light is ideal for repairing and healing when you are in a lifetime. Some people talk about angels and white light, but that's more after the lifetime when you don't have to have a body and make things happen in the physical plane. Gold is ideal for when you're here and now in the physical world and, driving a car and, you know, paying bills and doing all sorts of cool stuff, enjoying delicious food. Gold light is ideal. And just use the gold light from one hand to repair and unblock the other hand. And unblocking is important because unblocking and repairing for chakras is important because you want the chakra to function as well as possible and generate as much energy. Volume of energy is a big deal. Flow and volume of energy is a big deal. It's like a dishwashing machine. You want, a lot of force scrubbing out the blocks and repairing and everything. And you get that force with generating a lot of energy. So you unblock and repair your hand chakras and your fingertip chakras just with your intention and gold light. Unblock and repair. You can also do it with a copy out in front of you. Imagine, a copy of both your hands. Unblock and repair your hand chakras. Unblock and repair your fingertip chakras. And you have a lot of important meridians that begin or end in your fingers. We worked 2 of them 2 healings ago and 3 healings ago. The large intestine meridian and the lung meridian. The lung meridian starts around here and ends up in your thumb, and then the large intestine meridian starts here and ends up crisscrossing under your nose and so we worked those to help you release grief. But anyway, long story short, never a long story, just long. Anyway, so those are hands. So then you just make a copy of your everything out in front of you. All your auras, your physical body and your astral body are inside there. Both your connections to the core of the earth, your groundings. So with your groundings, you can get rid of the old ones and make new ones. Make them both the same color. You have 2 groundings, one for your physical body and your physical body aura, and then one for your astral body, which is you as a spirit, the part of you that can be fully present. Your astral body and your astral body aura have their own grounding, your astral body grounding, your astral grounding, and your physical grounding. You have 2 groundings, make them both nice and wide, red or orange or yellow, both the same color, and bring them up high as your 3rd chakra. Your 3rd chakra is below your sternum. So that bone that goes down like that and it ends right around there, and then right below that, that's what your 3rd chakra is. I've had one video commenter that said that their third chakra was all the way down here. Mine isn't. Mine is up here. I don't think it's hugely important though if it's there. I think it's not a physical structure like a bone, your chakra. So if if yours happens to be here versus here, does it matter? I don't think so. But anyway, bring your grounding up that high. Just to give extra support to your third chakra, second chakra, and first. Okay. So then imagine a copy of your everything out in front of you, including those two beautiful groundings you just made. And comb through the groundings with gold light from your hands and wash out everybody that's not you and everything that's not you. So people, invasive beings, whatever. Just gold light is kind of like bug spray in a spiritual sense, so you just use so much gold light, it gets rid of everybody in your grounding. And there's a if you use like a low amount, maybe it's not like bug spray and people just kind of move over. But if you surround your whole grounding in enough gold light and kind of permeate your grounding with enough gold light, then it's like nobody can stay. Deep breath. Right. And your auras, you have 17 of them. Astral body aura, physical body aura, and then 15 called Wei Qi auras. Wei Qi is a type of Qi that you have as a spirit, your strong boundaries energy. So that's standard traditional Chinese medicine that you have Wei Qi. But the fact that your Wei Qi, a big part of it is your 15 Wei Qi auras, that's something that angels explained to me. So if you talk to your acupuncturist about that, they may be like, Wei Qi auras, what? Just so you know the origin of it. But anyway, your 17 auras, they're all around you. So people often want me to draw a diagram, which I resist because it's a 3D thing and I don't have depth perception. Maybe that's part of why I don't like drawing 3D things. Also, I'm not an artist. No, but anyway, it goes all around you, above you, all around you, beneath your feet. They're auras, right? They emanate from you, and they're all around, right? So come through all your auras with gold light for your hands. And you want to use your intuition to see if you can sense any like valleys and gashes. Those aren't supposed to be there, but they're really, really common. And aura repair is where you repair them with gold light and then they grow back and they're not ripped up anymore. So you can locally repair them. Like I usually do that, to be honest, but there's a fun way, which I'm not going to do it as a healer to other people, but I'm going to demonstrate it now. It's a fun one. Okay. So I'm just going to do it on myself right now. You can do it on yourself if you want, and then I'll just do regular aura repair as a healer, which you could do that too. So it'll make more sense if you already know the standard way that we repair auras. But so if you don't know the standard way, just, this will make sense a little bit more later. But okay, so make an image of a rip, right? That's the composite copy technique, right? You make an image of a rip. You say, okay, this rip represents all the rips that I currently have in my 17 auras, right? And the idea with aura repair is you want to get rid of anything that's in the way. So the gold light permeates really well. So then the gold light repairs the rip, right? And therefore, if you repair that composite copy rip, you're repairing all the rips, right? But turbo gold blast technique is you make your composite copy of your rip and you say with your intention, okay, that represents all my rips, right? And then you just blast so much freaking gold light that that you blast everything and everyone out of the way. And it's not a whack. It's gold light. The angels say you will not be more likely to get backlash from it just because it's gold light. But it's just faster and it's fun. So to try it, you make your composite copy, rip, and you're like, okay, this represents all the rips in all my auras right now. And then you use so much gold light and just gold fire, gold sandstorm, whatever you want, and just keep doing it and just be like, there's so much gold light. You can, play some kind of motivational song for yourself in your mind. You just want to cook this thing with so much gold light. And the reason I'm not doing this for 142 people, because plenty of these people aren't conscious that they're getting the healings. They telepathically consented. And so, they may be driving a car or something right now. So I don't want to, it might be a little bit sudden, the effects, good effects, but still a little too sudden. So I won't do this for others. I'll just do it for myself, and you could do it for yourself. So you blast with so much gold light that not only it's like one step, then you're just getting everybody out and repairing all at once. You're burning up all the devices. You're blasting out anything, all the invasive beings, all the invasive people, and you're repairing it all at once. And just keep letting it cook. It's like gold light furnace. So much gold light. Just keep it going. Just burn off even any hard remnants, just anything. So it's total flow when you're done. So anyway, that's gold blast technique. Maybe it's fun. So now we'll do the standard way. So the standard way is just use sticky gold wax first, so you don't really have to blast. So you make, so this I will do for the 142 people that I'm healing right now. So, but you can do it for yourself, obviously. So make a composite copy rip, and you say with your intention, this represents all my rips, and then you use sticky gold wax, which is gold light from your hands, and it sticks to whatever's not you and forms a big lump. So then you can remove all of it at once. Angels, here you go. The sticky gold wax, remove all the junk at once. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, remove all the junk at once. Angels, here you go. And then get the gold light as deep as you can in there. So your quantity of gold light does not have to be as big this way. So it's like maybe a little bit more mellow of a process. Keep going with more gold until all the rips here. And then if you have any leftover aura hardness, you can make a pile out in front of you of all that. So aura hardness is just leftover, like if people are pounding on your energy, maybe it actually didn't rip and there's just like a lot of scarring, or maybe it did rip, and then deeper than the rip is like compression, and hardness. So anyway, make copies of all the aura hardness that you have out in front of you and melt it all away, because aura hardness just weakens your aura. So melt away your aura hardness, put more of it out in front of you, and melt away with lots of gold light. So creative rings, you have 3 gold rings above your head, 1, 2, 3, and they generate a lot of gold light, and they're cool. And if they work well and they're repaired, they're a beautiful thing. If they're irritated, not so good. So if they're irritated, they look like this. The flaps stick out. So that would be a top-down view of any one of the three creative rings if they're irritated. And they get irritated because there might be a pair of cords or a couple pairs of cords from people or invasive beings, and that energy that's not yours kind of puffs up and irritates the ring, and the flaps pop out. And then it's easier for other people to cord you as well. Not cool. So as you have those copies of your creative rings out in front of you, just melt away the cords with gold light and look for any cracks or missing chunks, and just focus a lot of gold light around them. And you could say, well, Janet, I can't see. I don't know what I'm doing. Just imagine, just be like, okay, well, this is the most cracked part of my creative rings, and then work on that part. And a lot of times with the ring, like say this is a mini view of a creative ring, right? A miniature view. So, you might have damage here, but you may have damage on both sides, like opposite sides of it. Or you might have damage here and here. But maybe it's all on one side. It just kind of depends how it happened. Use your intention and or vision and or feeling to repair. And of course, gold light. And you can imagine your gold creative rings, and then imagine like any invasive beings that are trying to mess with your rings, and maybe they're courting them. Just imagine them as like a bunch of clouds over to the side, and just say, angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings? And if you don't like imagining them, you can just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings screwing with my creative rings? Oh, I forgot to say, with aura repair, redo your gold buffer zones. You do that at the end of aura repair. I do have a video. If you search Janet Wright gold buffer zones, you'll find it. It just teaches you how to create flowy gold buffers, one for the edge of your astral body aura and one for the edge of your physical body, which slow the rate of aura damage if you recreate them often enough. So chakra repair and unblocking. Let's do that. We'll repair all your major and minor chakras at the same time. So major chakras, you have 2 sets of 7 chakras, which are your major chakras. Those are the chakras most people are aware of. Maybe they only think you have 1 set of them, your 7 chakras, but you have 2 sets. You have your physical body 7 chakras, and then you have your astral body 7 chakras. So they're along your spine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the top of your head. So those are your major chakras, but then you have a ton more chakras. So I had to call them something. So those are your minor chakras, but they're super important as well. So all your acupuncture points, those are minor chakras. You also have chakras, just in every major limb to keep the energy flowing. And so anyway, so you can again do composite copy technique, just like we did with aura repair, but now with chakra repair. So this is the basic shape of a chakra around an open cylinder like this. So you imagine a chakra shape, and you say, okay, well, this represents all my chakras of my body and my spirit, all my major chakras, all my minor chakras. So, and then just use gold light to repair and unblock and melt cords. And you can have hard objects stuck in the back in a chakra. So like say it looks kind of like a razor blade that's just kind of stuck there, or a like a spear stuck there in the surface, or right on the side somewhere. So you can just use sticky gold wax and cover the chakra with sticky gold wax and have it stick to any hard objects that are stuck in any of your chakras, and then just lift out the wax and all those hard objects. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Again, sticky gold wax all your chakras. Lift out the hard objects. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. You can say, angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are connected to those devices? Just so you don't get any drama. Well, get less drama. A life with absolutely no drama may be impossible. You can decide for yourself on that, though. You can certainly minimize drama in life. That's true. So anyway, lots of gold light for chakra repair. You could make a red grounding and bring it up from the core of the earth up to your composite copy chakra and just soak all the chakras in red earth energy and gold light. Then melt cords going into the chakras from beings and people. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings messing with these chakras? And chakras have flaps too, just like the creative rings around the round openings. And so when they're open, that's an irritated state, which you don't want. So again, so the flaps open would look like that, popped open around the round openings. So just use a lot of gold light, keep melting cords, keep repairing, keep melting away hard objects so that the flaps can relax and fall shut, so it's nice and smooth here. So your energy can come in and out of the chakra on both ends, but it's harder for people to cord if the flaps are shut. Here and unblock. Melt cord. All right, good enough. So now we've done grounding, we've done aura repair, we've done creative ring repair, we've done chakra repair. So the only thing left is the fifth essential, which is the back of head stuff. So that would be good karma windows and base of skull. So we'll bounce back and forth between those two. So base of skull points, those are acupuncture points in your base of skull area. So if you look at the diagram there are two horizontal rows of dots, and those are chakras in traditional Chinese medicine, meridians. So those lines are meridians, energy pathways of your physical body. But they help you on a spirit level, on a psychological level too. It's not just body stuff. And so each of those dots is a chakra. So this is the basic chakra shape, right? But the major 7, their job is to spin out energy into an aura layer. But these within a meridian, their job is to keep the energy within the meridian flowing well. And they help you in so many ways, mentally, psychologically, blah, blah, blah. But so if the meridian is going up and down like those base of skull point meridians are, then the chakra is it fits right in to the meridian. Obviously, it's not huge like this. So just use gold light, and you want these meridians you know, in the diagram, they're different colors just so you can tell them apart. But energy-wise, the ideal color for any of them, any body meridian, is red. So red and flowy. And so you want it to be red and flowy and unrestricted as opposed to like tight and hard and white or black or something. Red flowy. A red flowy tube with a red flowy river flowing within it of your life force and your body's life force. And from inside to outside, those meridians are GV, which is governing vessel meridian. The yellow one is UB for urinary bladder meridian. And the blue greenish one is GB for gallbladder meridian, which helps with self-assertiveness. And all these meridians help with 500 things, basically. And you can make a grounding for the back of your head, a red grounding straight up from the core of the earth all the way up to the base of your skull, so that you can facilitate draining any energy that's not yours all the way down to the core of the earth. Give yourself a little massage if you want at the base of your skull, gently. And if you imagine that grounding from your base of skull area down to the core of the earth, you can unblock that grounding just like you would with your regular groundings. So just imagine, you know, your nice red grounding that you just made all the way up to your base of skull area, and then just look for any blocks in that base of skull area grounding. Melt those blocks light from your hands. Okay, and then behind that area, behind your base of skull area, in your astral body aura, you have good karma windows. And so those are one per astral body aura layer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they look like triple frame windows. And you just use gold light and wash them out, repair them, and unblock them. They're kind of like back doors into your astral body aura in a way. But if they're repaired and flowing and you're there, then it's not a back door for invasive energy. It's just a way for you to bring in, one of many ways for you to bring in positive change energy of yours. So just imagine all those 7 good karma windows behind your base of skull and your upper neck. Lots of gold light. And you can have cracks in these triple frame windows. So if you imagine like what I mean by a triple frame window, it looks like that. Although they'll be in different colors based on your energy in each aura layer. But that's what I mean by triple frame window. And you can just double check that there's no cracks and use so much gold light that the cracks repair if there are any. And you can say angels if there are any invasive beings messing with my good karma windows. Can you please recycle them? And some of them, maybe your angels want you to drag out yourself. So just imagine that area, because the good karma windows, they're here, right? And then sometimes invasive energy has worked its way in because of damage, so it could get in, and then it roots itself in one of your major chakras, along your spine or your base of skull point, so it's kind of anchored in there like a weed in the garden with the roots anchored, right? So then you just use gold light and get the roots and the stem and the leaves of the weed, right? And just lift it all out, give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So surround it all in gold light, lift it out. Angels, here you go. Surround it all in gold light. Anything that's not you, lift it out. Angels, here you go. I'm especially working right now, the gallbladder, the lower gallbladder meridian point there in the base of skull area. So like I said, it's there's the, govern from the inside out, those base of skull meridians, that would be governing vessel meridian is the grayish, dark gray one in the diagram. Urinary bladder is the yellow one, and then the green blue one, that's the gallbladder meridian, right? And so the gallbladder meridian points in the base of skull, there are two, right? There's the upper one and the lower one. So it's that lower one that I've been working just now. And just look at that, see if it's too tight, too compressed. You don't want it to like be sort of like a raisin, like all dark and shriveled and compressed. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with this point, can you please recycle them? I'll look up which point that is just so I can. So when I want to look for a diagram of points, so I can see like, oh, that's gallbladder 23 or whatever. I Google gallbladder meridian point diagram yin yang house. They have good diagrams in my opinion, the yinyanghouse.com website, but then it's hard to navigate their website, I think. So if you just Google though and add yin yang house to that, gallbladder 20 is the one I'm talking about. So gallbladder 19 and gallbladder 20 are those base of skull points for gallbladder meridian. But gallbladder 20 is what I've been working, especially. So, especially gallbladder 20. And I keep working that. Now, part of, if it's not repairing enough, you could have your gallbladder meridian Wei Chi aura all damaged back there. And we did aura repair, so you would think all the auras are repaired, but sometimes if you have a really stubborn bunch of damage, one of the auras is still damaged. So the gallbladder meridian Wei Chi aura goes all around, and it especially protects and nurtures the gallbladder meridian. So if you have a point, you're like gallbladder 20, that's just not repairing enough, on both sides, of course. But then check the gallbladder meridian aura right behind it and see if it's not scooped out right there. And just use so much gold light, gold fire. And you can say, angels, if there's any invasive beings blocking this repair, can you recycle them? So let that aura grow back and let the gold mesh spheres in that aura grow back. Because each Wei-Chi aura has 3 gold mesh spheres within it that generate all the gold light of that Wei-Chi aura. And if there's a damaged area and then you repair the damage, then the gold mesh spheres might not automatically regrow there. So you just repair the innermost gold mesh sphere in that area, and then the middle gold mesh sphere, and then the outer. So the gallbladder meridian Wei-Chi aura, we could do the whole Wei-Chi aura all around you, just the gallbladder meridian. Gallbladder meridian, if we were to, just pick one thing that it helps with is self-assertiveness, decisiveness. Great for goal. So just use so much gold light on GB20 that your gallbladder 20, that one, the lower point in the base of skull, that it repairs and becomes red and flowy. Could look up what gallbladder 20 helps with. Yeah, my computer's not cooperating. A little bit. Oh, okay. I almost got it. Almost got it. So what I'll do is I'll mark this later so that you can skip past this delay that I'm making right now. Okay, so I have been having a delay because I'm looking up what gallbladder 20 is good for. But later you can. So gallbladder 20. Wind pond, intersection point of blah, blah, blah. Intersection point, special point. Spells wind cold and wind heat. Relieves heat, disperses yang coagulation, pacifies the yang fire of liver to calm and regulate the liver, drains and disperses fire, disperses and descends, blah, blah, blah. Benefits hearing, maintains function of inner ear for maintaining sense of balance, brightens the eyes and benefits vision, awakens the spirit and brain and clears the mind, resuscitates the senses. Treats headache, dizziness, and vertigo, along with other points that you use with it. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so let's keep going, but I think that's fun when you are working your meridians and then you just kind of, your intuition leads you to work on a certain point extra. Okay. So okay, so I will find when I finally started reading the gallbladder 20 information. So you could jump to that if you want. So now back to some energy healing. All right. So good karma windows. I think that helped a lot though. Still doing GB20 a little bit more, gallbladder 20. Like some people, they have it's like within gallbladder 20, there's like a couple black rocks, you know, of energy blocks, like right inside of it. So just imagining the black rocks and using gold light. You still do have that healthy and gentle intention. And you just keep monitoring, like, okay, am I doing too much? Is this still within healthy and gentle range? But it looks like it is, so I'm just gonna keep going. Ugh. All right, cool. Cool beans. So good karma windows. I like using my intuition and seeing, okay, well, does this one need more repair? This one, this one, this one, this one. You can also unblock them even if they're all repaired. It's like you're bringing in new energy through them. And so blocks and junk from other people can color or influence the uplifting energy you're trying to bring in and kind of make it less uplifting. So if you lift out all the blocks in your good karma windows that are healthy and gentle to get rid of, just lift them up and then use so much gold light that they all melt. Lift up the blocks in your good karma windows that are healthy and gentle to get rid of and melt all. Oh, right. So that was an interesting way to do 5 essentials. Hope you liked it. It was 5 essentials plus a lot of gallbladder 20 work and some extra work on the gallbladder Wei Chi aura, gallbladder meridian Wei Chi aura. But see, that's why I like freestyle healing over using my own videos. I mean, sometimes I have a good time using my own videos as walkthroughs. But I think if you do that, feel free though to pause, you know, say there's a part of a meridian that you feel like needs a little more work, pause the video that's, you know, my video that walking you through it and just do more work right where you feel like you need it. You know, it's like a little improvising is always often very helpful. All right. So good. So we're gonna work identity cleanse next, but I'm looking to see what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it first for a minute. So I'll be ready in a minute. Okay. Thanks for waiting. So, a lot of times with energy clearing, we talk about, just clearing everything that's not you. Um, in general, that's a fabulous idea. Nothing wrong with that. Um, but this time I want to focus on beneficial to you versus non-beneficial to you, because there could be stuff that is yours from a past life that's just not beneficial to you, impacting your identity. And there could be stuff that was inspired by family members of yours in this life that is beneficial to you, or your family or your religion or your culture that you like, that you resonate with. So you keep the version of your version of it within you. So I just think it's thinking about, well, does this benefit you in this lifetime? And that you can kind of sort that out and melt away stuff that doesn't benefit you in this lifetime with your angel's help. So that's what we're going to do. It'll be great. So we'll just do blanket technique with it, blanket exercise. Okay. So make a big gold blanket out in front of you and put on it copies of anything in your space that impacts your identity. So there could be just a ton of stuff, truckloads of stuff. So put copies of all the truckloads of stuff out in front of you onto the blanket. So it could be energy from other people, energy of yours from past lives, whatever, just blah, everything that impacts your identity on any level, especially subconsciously, right? And then, so the first thing we're going to do is sort it out and just use your intention. Don't freak out about it, but just be like, okay, one side is going to be beneficial to you personally in this life right now. And then the other side is going to be not beneficial to you in this life. Right. So just sort it out. Just be like, okay, lots of gold light, and just have it kind of pop into one pile or the other. Right. So much gold light, run gold light through all of it. So much that beneficial to you and not beneficial in this life at this time. Right. And then just if there's anything left over, just wrap it in with gold light. Say, angels, here you go. So then you have only two. So then you have two piles. They could be giant, but they're two. Or two sections, right? One is beneficial to you, one is not beneficial to you, whichever side is which, you keep track. And then say, angels, can you double check this sorting that I did and see if I'm right? Is this identity energy stuff good for me in this life right now? And this identity stuff not beneficial for me in this life right now? Just let your angels sort out the piles extra for you. Deep breath while your angels do that. Stay here. Maybe use gold light in your fourth chakra while your angels do some sorting for you. Think about what you're grateful for. Breath. Okay. So then now your angels are done. So then the not good for you in this lifetime stuff, you can say, angels, can you help me, because some of it will be your stuff. It's just it's not beneficial for you in this life, in which case your angels will move it off for you to your Akashic records, your personal Akashic records. And some stuff is like you're done with. It's yours, but maybe it's like stuck, and so you just completely melt it. But you can say, angels, if there's any of it that you need to store for me, can you do that? And then the rest you could just melt away. All right, and then if there's any left over, just wrap it up in gold light. Angels, can you help me with it? Okay. Then you're just left with stuff, energy that is beneficial to you right now for your identity. And you can kind of imagine it however you want. If you want to imagine it as trees or plants or one tree or flowers or a beach or a garden. But this is the identity energy that is helpful for you, that you and your angels have decided is helpful for you. So you can just, bring up red earth energy, bring that down, bring up orange earth energy, soak it, cleanse it, bring it down, bring up yellow earth energy, soak it. Lots of gold light, bring that back down. If you feel like anybody's corded to this stuff, you can just wash away the cords. And then you can just, not have a copy of it sitting in front of you, just within you. It's this identity energy that's beneficial to you right now in this life. Okay, good job, good job. Okay, so when I was looking at the effect of what we just did, the identity cleanse, sorting out beneficial and non-beneficial. And then getting rid of the non-beneficial stuff for your identity. I looked at the effect of that, and it looked like if somebody was a ship, that then getting rid of that negative stuff in their identity made the ship sit higher on the water, and like float better. It was like less sort of weight in the boat, so the boat could, the boat was more buoyant. And so then if you look at forward momentum, you continue the ship idea that, use it as a metaphor for reading yourself, like you're the ship, and look at a ship in the water, and you look at forward momentum, right, which is a major thing that we're working on in this healing, as like ship direction. And you want to have momentum. You want to be going in a positive way, right, towards achieving more and more of your goals, even the baby step goals and the bigger goals, and then the more long-term goals, right? So you can imagine, like, okay, if I'm working towards and achieving goal after goal, that would be like my ship is going this way, whichever way you want to imagine it, and then how is my ship pointed right now? Is it pointed in that proper direction for forward momentum or not? So it's floating better because we got rid of the yucky stuff in the identity space, but is it pointed in the right direction? And it might be slightly off. It just might not be moving forward in that nice momentum that you want. So I think, again, we'll keep it simple with blanket exercise. So just make a big old blanket out in front of you and put on it copies of any baggage that you have, dumped energy within your space that's not yours, whatever. Any junk in your space that's causing your ship to not be pointed in the direction of positive forward momentum and not be traveling nicely forward, right? So anything in the way of your positive forward momentum, right? That's in your space. So just put all that out in front of you. And then say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And that way your angels will take off anything that's too much to do right now. And then you can say, angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? Deep breath while your angels do that for you. So then you can do the rest. It's just a bunch of baggage now. So just bring up earth energy straight from the core of the earth, red earth energy, and soak all that baggage, all that, we could say forward momentum baggage, you know, anything in the way of your ship pointing in the right direction and heading forward, right? So red earth energy and gold light, and melt cords from people with the gold light. There could be people cording into all this baggage. You could be cording into all the baggage. So just lots of gold light. The melt cords wash everybody out of the pile with gold light. Wash your own resistance out of the pile. And just keep using gold light until it melts. Or at this point, you could blow up all the baggage too. That's kind of fun. All right. So again, check your ship direction, right? So imagine, okay, well, what's your forward momentum ship direction? And is your ship pointed in that direction? And if it is pointed in that direction, is it moving forward? So is it pointed the right way for your forward momentum, and is it moving forward? And has that changed in that one clearing that we did? So we'll do it again quickly. Big gold blanket, anything put onto it, anything in the way of your forward momentum. And just use lots of gold light and melt it all away. Again, pile any junk onto the blanket that's in the way of your forward momentum. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this junk? Lots of gold light. Melt it all away. Anything left over, just use gold light, wrap it up. Angels, here you go. Can you help me with that? Couple deep breaths. Okay, good job, good job. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute as I look and see what's best to do next. Okay. Thank you for waiting. So, I was looking at somebody, sample person the angels picked, and what we'd already done has helped, since the 5 essentials, what we did with the identity cleanse and then the ship direction stuff. So this person's ship is pointed in the right direction, but it's not moving forward. And it looks like it's got these like ropes and anchors, so it's anchored in place, that this person's ship. And for this person, what's anchoring them in place so they can't make a lot of forward momentum is serving and pleasing others, controls in their space. Like this person was basically wired a couple lifetimes ago, actually, to serve and please others. And, you can have a lifetime where you're literally, like an indentured slave, like literally. Or maybe you just, in a past life or in this life, have a very oppressive parent, or sibling that, or partner that manages to put this level of control in your space, so that you're really wired to derive your sense of worth from serving others or making other people happy around you. And obviously that gets in the way in a big way. I mean, of course you can be very compassionate, but this is different. This is like to a level of distraction and real distortion so that you're not figuring out what you're meant to do because you're so wired to fixate on the needs of others. And sometimes this can backfire too. And so you don't become an overgiver. You actually end up resenting the people that you're supposed to help because you have these controls in you and you know that you're sacrificing yourself too much. You know it's unhealthy for you. And so that you end up resenting the people that you're helping. Which, technically is kind of irrational. I mean, but, people do all sorts of irrational things all the time. But, if you're choosing to help someone, why resent them? It's your choice to help them to the degree that you are helping them. So why would you then get all tied up in knots and resent them about it? Just own your choice and be empowered and, be at peace with your choice. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's obviously the ideal. So in other words, this baggage, this serve and please others baggage doesn't always make you an overgiver. Sometimes it makes you a giver, but then like a hater. So you hate who you're giving to, so because you just can feel the controls and you're kind of blaming it on the person you're giving to, but it's probably not them that wired you and may not be. Chances are it's not. Chances are this wiring has been in you from childhood or, childhood 7 lives ago. That type of thing. So let's clear it. It's actually easier to clear than it is to talk about. So there's that. All right. Let's do it. All right. Okay. So the controls, it can be pieces of other people's energy or hard objects from other people, but it can also be invasive beings. Like in the last telling we were talking about, curse maintaining beings. I mean, there could be invasive beings that really try to keep this game going so that you're kind of mindlessly, robotically overgiving over and over, right? So So we're going to get rid of the invasive beings first. So then getting rid of the pieces of energy and the hard objects is much more, routine and simple. So you can imagine, make a big old blanket out in front of you and just make a pile of copies of anything in your space that would be a serve and please others control. That makes you overgive, makes you fixate on the needs of others to an unhealthy extent. So serve and please others controls. And then before you clear them, say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are connected to all that junk? Right? Even the hidden ones, even the curse maintaining beings that are hidden, blah, 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 blah. Any beings that are in any way related to that junk being in my space and staying in my space or coming back into my, right? So then just let your angels. Okay, so then we'll still do another step to kind of be careful again. So we got rid of the invasive beings, but then there's people, and people around you could be subconsciously courting this stuff, not necessarily for nefarious purposes, maybe accidentally, maybe they're just kind of neurotic and stuck in fear, whatever. But maybe they're trying to help. They're just confused subconsciously, So it doesn't matter. Just use gold light and get everybody out of this pile of junk. So this is the pile is anything that's keeping you stuck, serving and pleasing others. So it could be hard objects, it could be your own baggage, it could be, devices, dumped energy from others, but you want to get everybody out. So melt cords from other people, melt cords from yourself, wash your own energy out of the pile, wash everybody else's energy out of the pile. And then just keep melting the pile. You want to fully melt it. You could blow it up at this point now that you've gotten everybody out, if you're healing yourself. And just take your time so that you get it all. And if any of it isn't fully clearing, just wrap it up in gold light, give it to your angels, say, angels, can you help me with this? Couple deep breaths. So we'll do that one more time faster. So big gold blanket out in front of you, put onto it anything within your space that kind of wires you to overgive to people, to be overly fixated on giving to others and serving others in some kind of imbalanced, unhealthy way. That's not in your best interest. Put all that junk out in front of you. Angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings at all connected to this stuff or related to this stuff in any way? Breath. And then you can melt cords going into all this junk from other people. Lots of gold light, gold fire, gold water. Wash out everybody out. Wash your cords out. Wash other people's cords out. And then just continue to fully melt it all or blow it all up. And if there's any left over, just wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you help me with that. All right. So check your ship direction, right? We've been working, the last 3 exercises since the 5 essentials all is helping with the same thing of getting forward momentum, right? So we did the identity cleanse, which can help with forward momentum, and imagine how that helped your ship in the water. And then the forward momentum, we imagined as a ship direction, and see, okay, is your ship in the water that represents you pointed in the right direction? That represents your forward momentum for you personally. And then is it moving in the right direction forward for your forward momentum? And just see now how that is. Is your ship moving forward in the right direction? Forward momentum. All right, good job. Good job, good job. Okie doke. So I'm going to look for a sec, see what we're doing next. But we may be near the end. That was near the end of the healing. That was a good collection of stuff. So we'll see. Okay. Thanks for waiting. So what we're going to do now is, again, thinking about your forward momentum. If you like it to think about it this way, as a ship, and is your ship going in the right direction and going forward, with your forward momentum in the water. We had just cleared baggage and controls and invasive beings that could be making you distract yourself with an over fixation on other people and their needs and serving them and helping them. But now, another thing that could be maybe just slowing your ship down so it's not as fast moving, is whatever that you're holding yourself back with internally. Like maybe you're afraid of offending others, or you're afraid of failing, so you don't want to, try so hard because, that you don't want to feel like a failure. You think you're going to fail. Maybe there's some kind of fear, some kind of self-esteem, some kind of shame. Maybe you don't want to be noticed. You'd rather hide and kind of be mediocre so people don't notice you, or spirits don't notice you, whatever. So if you have some kind of phobias or baggage, something unhealthy that makes you hold yourself back, that obviously really gets in the way, even more than other people trying to hold you back, is if there's some subconscious reason why you yourself are holding yourself. So fortunately, you don't have to do 20 years of therapy, although therapy can help, so you could consider it if you can afford it. But if you want, but without the therapy, you can still clear this stuff. That's what we're going to do now. And your intention is you want to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. right? You want to clear just enough so that you're still fully functioning. Keep doing more later. You want in your dreams with your angels, subconsciously on the astral, or consciously, you can keep working this exercise over time. All right, let's do it. So, you could make a big gold blanket out in front of you, and just put any baggage, but you can make gold boxes or gold dumpsters or, whatever amuses you more. But make a big gold blanket out in front of you, put onto it any inner baggage that you have, where it makes you personally step back from working on your goals. It makes you personally step back from working towards your own success. So put any of that junk out in front of you, anything that causes you personally, you, not your dad in your head or someone else, but some deep-seated subconscious thing where you personally are holding yourself back. And obviously you may not think there's anything, but it's always good to do this anyway, because subconscious is subconscious. So put out in front of you any inner stuff that causes you to hold yourself back from achieving your goals and really working on your goals. And put that out in front of you and say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And deep breath while your angels sort through that. And then angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this stuff? And then go ahead and bring up red earth energy, soak it all in red earth energy. And that just, encourages energy that's to drain out of it towards the core of the earth, and melt cords going into this pile from other people and from yourself. And just keep washing everybody out of the pile of baggage. Again, this is the baggage that's causing you personally to actually hold yourself back from working on your goals, from achieving your goals. So just melt all that away. If you want, now that you got everyone out of the pile, if you still have some left, you could blow it up. And if there's any left over, just wrap it up in gold light. Give it to your angels. Say, angels, can you please help me with this? Okay, so we'll do that a little bit faster one more time. Big gold blanket out in front of you. Pile onto it any junk that causes you to hold yourself back from working on your goals, from achieving your goals, from consistent positive action. Put all that out in front of you. Angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And bring up red earth energy from the core of the earth. Soak the pile. Gold light. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings at all hooked into this stuff? And then wash everybody out of the pile. Keep using gold light, and then you can blow up the pile or keep using gold light to melt it fully. And if you have any left over, just wrap it up in gold light and hand it to your angels. Angels, can you please help me with this? Okay, so we're going to wrap up. That was a nice collection of goodies. So we'll do the second one first there, the second one that I wrote out, empty USPs. So empty USPs, USP stands for unprocessed stress pots. It's just a visual way of imagining your like workspace for stuff that you haven't quite processed yet in your brain, in your spirit, in your soul. Stuff that's just kind of like maybe you backburnered it. You haven't fully processed it. So it could potentially be in your way. So you want to catch up on your processing because you don't know what's going to happen in the next hour, the next day, the next month, and you want to be ready for anything. And so if you don't have leftover like stuff that you kind of leave around everywhere, then it's like we're decluttering basically spiritually. I like that. So you can imagine however you want. You can imagine big pots, and if you want, and then just see, are they full? Are they half full? Or are they all empty? If they're empty, that means you caught up on all your processing of like unprocessed stress. So just imagine all your unprocessed stress pots, even the ones that you hide from yourself, and just use lots of gold light, wash everybody out of the pot. Sometimes invasive people can kind of cord the pots, which makes it harder. So just melt everybody out, melt the cords from other people. Lots of gold light. You want to empty all these pots just by using lots of gold light and catching up on your processing. So you're spiritually decluttering. Ah. All right, great job. All right, so that's empty unprocessed stress pots. You can let go of that imagery. And then clearing STEBs. So STEBs stands for stubborn triggered energy blocks. So it's just energy blocks. They're still triggered, still hanging out in your space, even though we've done so much amazing stuff to clear blocks already. So chances are they're still around because there's too much resistance of yours. So it's kind of glued to you with your resistance, and or other people are cording it, the blocks, or invasive beings are cording it. So there's something like holding it in place. So we're going to take care of all that. So just stack all these STEBs out in front of you, stubborn triggered energy blocks, and then say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? So anything that's too much, your angels are store away for you. And then angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into all this junk? And then just use lots of gold light. You can bring up red earth energy, soak the pile in red earth energy, melt cords from other people and from yourself going into these blocks, and wash everybody's energy, including your own resistance, out of these blocks. And as you do that, they'll probably start to clear without you really trying. But you can just keep using gold light, and you can blow them all up if you want, or just melt them fully with gold light. Mhm. All right. So we'll do that one more time. Big old blanket out in front of you. Put out in front of you any leftover STEBs, stubborn triggered energy blocks that you have anywhere in your space bothering you on any level, even subconsciously. And bring up red earth energy. Angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? Breath. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Breath while your angels do that. Melt cords from people, from yourself. Melt everything out of these piles. And melt the blocks fully with gold light from your hands, or blow them all up. If there's any leftovers, just wrap them up in gold light. Say, angels, can you help me with all that? All right. So imagine your everything out in front of you, your auras, your 17 auras, your astral body and your physical body are in the middle of all the auras, of course, the center of all the auras. And then you have your two groundings connecting you to the core of the earth, connecting your astral body and your physical body to the core of the earth. Home through, make sure your auras, your groundings are as wide as your auras. So this wide, just outstretched hands. And if they're not that wide, just comb through your groundings, let them widen out. Melt any blocks in your groundings. You can check, okay, is there enough fast downward flow in this part of my grounding, in this part of my grounding? I like thinking about grounding as in like 4 quarters, the front left, front right, back left, back right, and then the core part sort of thinking about that extra just because that's a good area that you definitely want flowing. But, you know, you don't have to think about it that way. You can think about it as a whole as well. Make sure it all really good, strong downward flow. Indie grounding is where you double check your grounding, the outer surface, and use gold light and melt away connections between your grounding and other people's groundings, because it messes up grounding for them and for you if you hook them up together. So just use gold light and wash everybody out of the outer surface of your groundings. And you can say, if you have like a friend or something that you feel like is trying to connect to your grounding, just, hey, you know, go ask your angels for help with your grounding. Come through your spine. Check to see if your spine is leaky. So much gold light that anything needing repairs. No leaks. Major chakras. Check your auras above your head. You're above the top of your auras even. Unblock there. Melt away. Right, redo your gold buffer zones. So as we wrap up, just ask your angels, can you help me wrap up this healing? And angels, can you help me with my discipline and my consistent action? Angels, can you help me work towards my goals and achieve my goals? All right, good job, good job. That's a healing. You're amazing. Woo, 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 woo. Yay. Okay, so we'll do, the healing is done, the healing part of the live stream. And so we will take a break, bathroom break, quick bathroom break, and stretch break if you want to stretch. I'll turn on the camera while I stretch, but, you know, don't take it as like instruction in stretching, because I'm like just untrained individual doing some stretching. I'm not a stretching teacher. Plus, everybody's body is different and, you know, whatever. So be gentle and do your own stretching if you choose to. And the only reason I do it on camera is, you know, stretching is really helpful and positive, and generally many people have overly sedentary lifestyles and they need to stretch more often. So I figure if you see me doing funny stretches, you know, see that maybe it, you know, makes you more likely to do stretching, you know, just like by example kind of thing. So anyway, but then we will do a little Q&A type idea. If you have any comments about how you're doing since the healing, that would be interesting. You know, how the healing was for you, how you're doing now. If you could, you know, like, can you read my life story type questions? If you're a newbie, I would welcome a question of yours. It could be a simple question. It can't be, you know, read the meaning of my life type thing. Read the purpose of my life. Nothing giant. But, you know, if you want me to look at your grounding or something, or look at your first chakra, or, you know, the energy flow in your legs or something quick. But if you know my work and you're not brand new to my work, then please try to be more empowered about it and put your read of your issue first. And then, you know, so then I can double check your read of your issue, because self-assessment is a very powerful skill and you build it through practice. So, you know, rather than saying, oh, Janet, can you read this for me or tell me what to work on next? You know, read yourself what you think you need to work on next, and then I'll just double check it for you, thereby validating and encouraging you to, you know, keep reading yourself, which is priceless. Okay, so hope that makes sense. So I will be back. I'm going to get rid of the camera, I think. Yeah, because my empty chair isn't very exciting. I was hoping that our kitten would play back there, but I have some of his toys back there, but I think my husband's keeping him out of my hair, which is probably better. All right. So let's get rid of the camera, and I'll be back soon. Hey, hello, hello, I'm back. So I'm gonna do a little stretching. You can too if you want, but don't, do whatever stretching you want if you're gonna do it. You don't have to do what I'm doing. I am back. Hope you had a good break. Okay, let's change the scenery. Oh. Doke. So I'm gonna take a look at comments I haven't read yet. Yeah, if you want to put him on camera. So Felix is getting his second meal. Oh, of course he's gray. Really hard to see. Oh well. too hard to see him. Let's see if I can get the lighting better. Yeah, it's hard to see him. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I don't know if you could see him that well, but he's on the cat tree and he's having his second meal a day. 3 meals. All right, I tried. Felix moment. Okay, so looking for comments I haven't seen yet. Someone says, "Hi, Janet. Can you combine healing holes and tears together since they are similar? Thanks." Yes, we always do that. Holes and tears is the same thing. They're synonyms. I use a lot of synonyms, and I guess that can be confusing. Like I'll say damage, gashes, breaks, missing pieces, missing chunks. It's all the same thing. It's all damage, or a damage. It's just that sometimes if I use more descriptive words, I think it helps people to see, like if you can have, like for aura damage, there can be like a whole section of your aura just whacked away. So it's like, it's just not there, like this giant valley. Or you can have like a really deep, like a gash, and it goes deep, but it's not like, a quarter of your aura is missing. It's just a certain part that has a very deep hole, but it's the same thing. It's just that less of your aura got destroyed. So it made a deep gash as opposed to, the whole aura getting blown away. The whole, quarter of your aura getting blown away. But it's all aura damage. It's all the same thing. I just describe it differently sometimes. But yeah, you're repairing it all at once anyway. Whether it's a big rip or a giant, yeah, it's all the same thing. So yeah, we always get them all at once. So I don't know if that makes sense to you. But you could ask a follow-up question if you're still confused. Somebody says, "Thanks for the healing, Janet. Feeling okay. A little out of it post-healing. Got really triggered at the start. I think it was my sister-in-law. I always find the ship direction work hard. Mine never seems to move forward, but it does change direction. Excited to work these techniques more." That is interesting, but that could be good. You could be seeing something real. It's not that you're bad at that exercise. It's just that there's something persistent that's still there. So I would you can keep clearing stuff and use your intuition and be like, well, what's keeping the ship in place still? Like when I was looking at one of the sample people, they had ropes in the water that went down, and then anchors, and the anchors was they were wired to serve and please others. So it was like upstaging their own natural, what they're meant to do in this lifetime type stuff. So, I think that's real. It doesn't mean you're bad at the exercise at all. It just means there's still more. You haven't quite cracked the nut, I mean, yeah, well, the way I look at your ship, it does look like it is moving forward. It's just moving forward kind of slowly, like boom, boom, and then it stops for a little, and then boom, boom, and it stops for a little, boom, boom, and it stops for a little. So the question is, what's holding it back? Is it dragging stuff behind? Is it, got weights on it? Is it got anchors in the water? What is it? And just keep working it. So yeah, I think you're good at it. I just think that, what you're seeing, what you could do is see only what's healthy and gentle to do right now. And that maybe then you'll get it to move faster. Maybe you're imagining like everything that's holding you back in existence, And then it's too much to clear right now. So it's kind of a discouraging exercise for you because you're like, well, it never moves, Janet. But maybe make sure that you're seeing, only what's healthy and gentle to do right now so that, a healthy and gentle amount of progress, you'd be able to actually see it. So I hope that makes sense. I mean, either way, you could imagine it as a river too, if somehow, maybe you have some deaths at sea that are freaking you out, from past lives. So you could choose a different visual metaphor to work, like a flowing river for your forward momentum, and see if your forward momentum river is flowing well, and just unblock it. You could always change it up and do a different metaphor if one is troubling you. Hope that helps. Okay. Let's see. Someone says, thank you for the healing. You're welcome. I am feeling less stressed than I was earlier and also feel my angels next to me. Oh, that's nice. Yes, which they always are, but now you actually feel it. I see that's the difference. You always have, in general, people always have at least their spirit guide with them. Often their spirit guide and one of their angels with them. Sometimes multiple angels with them. At one time, like now, if you're watching a live stream, probably a couple of your angels might come and hang out with you just to help you get the most from the healing. But yeah, you're never alone spiritually in a good way. You're never alone. All right. My oldest is currently in his jujitsu class and noticed he is more present. Maybe you noticed he's more present. I think he was able to get a bunch of people out of his space and looks lighter. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so you read it yourself first, which is great. And he did get the healing today. So if I compare like the last time he was in class and this time during and, during the healing, yeah, he does look more present. Looks like before, he kind of like, it's hard for him, the before one, like his last class before today, looks like he sort of pops out and like watches everybody and feels kind of scared. Like it's easy for him to see skill in other people, but not in himself. Skill and potential in other people, but not himself. So, but now it seems like he's not so fixated on other people and how well they're doing and like the comparison. He's more like, oh, let me try this. Oh, let me try this. Let me try this. So he's less like the sort of negative observer and just more in it and actually experiencing the class, from in his body. So yeah, seems neat. It's cool. I agree with you, Reed. Someone says, hey, Janet, thank you for the healing. I love the theme. Yeah, me too. I had a very productive year and accomplished a lot, but I haven't met my money saving goals. Is there something in particular that would help? The ship manifesting visualization was interesting for this when I was looking at it earlier. So, a couple things. When you don't meet your goals, there are a couple questions that you could ask yourself. Because conscious goals are one thing, but then there's like what you subconsciously on a spirit level, on the astral, agreed with your angels and kind of planned on that subconscious level. And sometimes you subconsciously are smarter. Well, often all of us are more evolved subconsciously. So it could be consciously that you felt like, okay, this is the perfect financial goal for me for this year. But on a spirit level, your angels kind of knew, and they, so I would say compare your conscious financial goals that you felt like you would be accomplishing this year with what you agreed to with your angels and what you were really working on the astral with your angels as far as finances. Because it could be that there were different goals that you had on a spirit level with your angels as far as finances, and that maybe you've met those goals, or you met half of them or something. So I would compare. Um, because part of it is too, like, your angels, they don't always know the future, but they know a lot more of the future, chances are, than consciously. And so on the astral, they may have taken some of that into account, and given you a different set of financial goals, worked with you on a different set of financial goals than what you consciously knew at the start of this year. So it's part of why there may be a difference. But anyway, you're saying what would help you with money saving goals. Yeah, I would say first just read that on a spirit level for a little bit. Not only right now, but maybe over a couple days, just read what are your goals on a subconscious spirit level with your angels? What were they for this year? And how do they differ from your conscious goals? And just think about that a little bit. I think there could be a lot there. That could help you figure out where you're at with that. Someone says, loved the forward momentum in ship direction. As I was reading it, I noticed my husband and mother-in-law. Then you explained the serve and please controls. I felt like I had a good read about it. Yes, that's true. Yeah. You weren't my sample person, actually, but that's the whole thing of a sample person, that there's so many people that have the same issue as the sample person, that's why we do it as an exercise. So that's cool. So then you say, my husband's anger that is mostly controls from his mother impact me and our boys. He doesn't have good boundaries with her. And in his path, he has his head bended forward some. Angel classes can help, but what else? I mean, so you're thinking, well, how can I help my husband not have so many problems with his anger? I mean, the thing is, anger management classes on the astral are very effective. I think that of the classes that he could have taken this year, he took maybe like 1% of them. So he's been opting out of overall of his anger management classes. He's like, yeah, later. I gotta get this done first. Later. He kind of fixates on financial career stuff on the astral, and doesn't really understand that emotional involvement would help him with everything. He doesn't really realize that how the universe and the world and other people react to him is partially determined by his emotional wellness, as well as his how hard he works. He's sort of a brute forcer. He thinks if he just works hard, it's all going to work out. But then now he's like a bitter mess, and it obviously is not just about working hard. So oh, he gave me such a look about that bitter mess comment. That's funny. But he gets the point. Now, it looks like he's going to stop opting out of the anger management astral classes. So we'll see how that goes. I guess you're wondering like how you. I mean, I think your boys can take classes about how to deal with an angry father, how to process having an angry father. They haven't had those classes because I think you kind of imagine that he can somehow transform into being not an angry person. I think if you look at, okay, what's his realistic level of transformation in this life, it's only about half of what you're hoping for, as far as I can see. And so the other, everyone around him would either need to, clear their own baggage around having a person in their life that they're close to who has anger issues, you know. So, yeah, so I guess that's the thing. It's like the way your angels show it to me, it's like all your eggs are in one basket about like, okay, he just needs to get much better, And it's like, well, what if he doesn't? Like, what's the best he can do in this life realistically, or like say in the next 5 to 10 years in this life? And then what? Maybe your sons need some astral classes, you need some astral classes. Kind of like Al-Anon helps people that are loved ones of alcoholics to kind of process and stuff. So it's like the spiritual version of anger-anon, like classes for people who love someone who has anger issues. Because part of having a loved one who has anger issues, part of the sort of finesse of that is to not be holding your breath about them getting better. So you could just like kind of be a less invested observer about their anger issues. If you're holding your breath for them to get better, it creates a lot of weird resentment, judgment, invasiveness on both sides. So if you can just be sort of a neutral observer to his anger, it helps a lot. It helps that person evolve faster, and it helps you just have a life in the meantime. So that's what I think your angels are nudging about. It's like, can you be a neutral observer to his anger? And I mean, I think the thing is because you're like, well, but I have children, you don't understand. And I think your angels are like, well, figure out the point at which it's just too much and you need to remove your children from the situation. And at which point it's just, they can take angel classes and evolve, and they signed up for being around an angry dad to a certain point. Get more clarity about when is it that you draw the line and you cannot let your sons be around that, and when is it a learning experience for them. Because your role as a parental protector, and just get more clarity on that. Because it seems like that's like sort of a big thing that you've been avoiding that's just really in your space. It gets very triggered every time he gets angry, that it looks like you don't have clarity on where's your red line, as a parent protector of your sons. So I hope that makes sense. Obviously, it's not something that you would have clarity in the next 5 minutes. It's just something you can meditate on and journal on and talk to your angels about. Ooh, Felix went into his little tunnel. See? Yay. All right. So I hope that makes sense about being an observer of somebody with anger issues. So I'll just label that later. So that was a lot of different sort of subtopics within having a loved one with anger issues. We covered angel classes for the person who has the anger issues, but also everyone around them. And then being a neutral observer to their anger issues, and having a red line about what's too much for you to be around, and what's too much for your children to be around, and what's something that they can learn from. And knowing what your red line is in advance, just sort of taking time to meditate on that and talk to your angels about it. Okay, hope that makes sense. Because it all gets triggered every time that person's angry. So you may as well just, you know, in between times, just get your clarity, work on getting your clarity, and talk to your angels about it. Okay, so hope that helps. Oops, that's not what I wanted to put up. Hoping to put up the old banner. Oh well. Okay. So more. Someone says, "Hi Janet, thanks for the healing." You're welcome. I'm still feeling romantic feelings once again for, and you put their initials. I keep healing the part of me that's stuck and reminding her, this part of you, of the current situation, but she goes back again. I asked my angels to clear my agreements, if any, with him. I still feel like there's something more, but I can't see it yet. Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, I think you're obviously making progress on it. I can understand that it's kind of frustrating and distracting that it's you're still not totally over the guy. For some reason, my angels want me to tell a personal example of a similar situation in my past, long ago past, fortunately. Thank God. But maybe it'll help for some reason. So there was a guy that I was stuck on, and he wasn't with anyone else for the most part of the time. And then, but it wasn't like an official dating thing. He was this player, and he kind of was like, well, we're seeing each other. You know, and he was like, well, I wouldn't be able to see other people, but he wasn't seeing other people. So, you know, but then uh I broke up with him because I was like, well, this is so uneven and weird. So I eventually did find some self-respect and break up with him. And then but I was still involved in his life and helping out his dad, who we had good past lives with. So his dad's super awesome. And he's a heaven friend of mine, his dad. But now a heaven friend. But at one point I wasn't, you know, kind of done. Like I felt like, because the guy started getting involved with a new person, and I think I felt like this need to protect him from the new person. Like I felt like the new person was very manipulative, and I felt like, well, you know, it was weird to watch it, you know, kind of like a train wreck in progress, you know, or a slow motion car accident. And I felt like, you know, oh, I should help him. You know, I should help him, you know, get her out of his space, blah, blah, blah. You know, even if he's not going to be with me, I don't want him to get screwed, you know. But at some point, I just realized, like, he's really choosing this. He's really choosing this person. And sometimes people choose situations that maybe observers can be like, yeah, there's some serious manipulation going on. But, you know, people have free will. And sometimes it just feels right to that person, you know, whatever relationship it is. And it's like something they need on some level, even though it's not like the best relationship. It's what they're choosing. And, you know, free will is really important, you know? So it's like, even if there's manipulation involved and it's not the most evolved relationship ever, you know, it's like to be able to recognize that, you know, someone's a grown person and they're making their choices, and kind of know, like, you know, it is what it is. Like you can't waste time just because someone you care about is in a relationship that you feel is less ideal for them. You know, it's like it's kind of like, you know, at some point you're wasting your time, I guess. So I don't know why they wanted me to tell you that. I mean, I guess it's just that, you know, maybe that there's a part of you that, you know, just feels like the relationship that he's in right now is not ideal for him, you know, and that could be true, but what's an ideal relationship, you know, to an outside observer? You know, it's not really about what an outside observer thinks of as ideal. It's what that person's choosing that counts. Um, so maybe if you talk to yourself on that level, you know, and just explain to yourself that this is what he's choosing, you know, and he's made his choice, and you know, time's ticking, you know, your life goes on. So I don't know. Maybe that'll help you because the angels did want me to tell you. So there you go. I don't think there are any agreements though. I think though maybe yeah, you're trying to save him. You think that his relationship is inferior, the one that he has with that person. So I hope that helps. Someone says, thanks, Janet. I feel super drained this week. I've been trying to clear overstep baggage related to work. Oh yeah, all the authority hierarchy stuff. I think my drain is work people courting my third and in my space. How did I do with clearing a little of the overstep baggage? And then how did your spouse do? So okay, so the overstep baggage we were talking about was like that you have a little bit your awareness levels is a little too big picture. So you'll walk into an organization and rather than just thinking about, okay, well, this is my job and this is how I can contribute to the organization and to society at large, you think of the whole organization and you're like, well, this is less ideal, this is less ideal, less ideal. And you forget, like, okay, there's a hierarchy, there are people, there's free will, and I have an agreement to do this job, not everybody else's job. And so you tend to, you personally, and many people tend to fence jump and be like, you know, trying to tweak entire departments and whatever that you're not in charge of. And, you know, and then all these people whack the shit out of you because why are you doing that? Karmically, you don't have that permission. And then you get like 15 fights that you don't need at work every day. So before we talked about that consciously, you had like 12 fights you didn't need at work because you were overstepping authority levels and responsibilities. And now you only have 6 fights that you don't need at work. So you're headed in the right direction with it. So how you got that far is you did clear baggage. So the rest, why haven't you cleared the rest? Is it just it was too much to clear at once? No. There's something weird about it. Hmm. Your angels show me this image of 3 stairways, and you're trying to go up 3 stairways all at once, as opposed to just one. And it's impossible, but part of you that tries to over create like that and go up all 3 stairways at the same time thinks, well, if I could just fix this entire organization and the industry in which I work and, you know, the industry in this country, then I could go up all 3 staircases at the same time. Which gets you like really into a lot of areas that you don't have karmic permission to be in. Um, Yeah. So maybe just visualize like what's a healthy amount to accomplish in a work day, in a work week, in a work month. What's a healthy amount to accomplish, and just represent it in a simple way. But what's a healthy amount to accomplish that is realistic, that where you're not fence jumping, you're just doing your job. And then what is it that part of you wants to do instead? How much does part of you want to do instead? And maybe heal those like overdrive parts of you, like fence jumping and overdrive parts of you. So do it like a heal mini use, So imagine the parts of you that, try to do 3 times as much and try to change everything so that that's actually possible. So the overdrive parts of you. Yeah. Yeah. So just heal mini yous that are getting you into trouble with authority and karma and, job positions, making you try to do 3 times more than is healthy and rational for yourself at work. And your spouse, he liked this healing. His ship is doing better since the healing. I think sometimes he like observes the economy and like, sort of industry stuff, and he gets not like you, like he doesn't try to control the whole industry or the whole economy of the country, but he gets like overly triggered by that stuff on a subconscious level, maybe consciously too, I don't know. But he's beginning to just have better focus and just kind of not freak out about the nation and the economy and the industries, and just kind of have his simple goals and do his simple stuff, and kind of he seems to have more in the last like month or so, he seems to have more inner serenity. I'd be curious, you could write on your survey that I said he has more inner serenity this month, and you can let me know if that's obvious consciously or not at all. But it looks like on a mental level it is true. There's like more calm water so he can plan and think better. All right. Hope that helps. Someone says, thanks, Janet, about ship direction work. I totally think I see all of what's holding me back, and that's discouraging. Yeah. Yeah, you're only supposed to look at what's healthy and gentle to work right now. Like I like not even seeing what's more than healthy and gentle to work right now, because otherwise I might get into a headspace that you're in where you're like, oh, it's not enough change, Yeah, just reset your vision so it's only what's healthy. You're only seeing an issue that is healthy and gentle to fix, like right now in your meditation in the next 5-10 minutes. Okay, I think I see all of what's holding me back, and that's discouraging. Thank you for highlighting that. I do think I have a thing about water. Yeah. You know, I, I don't think I do anymore, but I mean, I'm sure all of us have had terrible water deaths and or terrible water deaths of people that we care about in past lives. So yeah, it's a thing. So yeah, if the ship image kind of freaks you out, just do a river or a garden or something else, When I look at the ocean parts of maps, I always get nauseous. Yeah, and I've never known why. Makes sense that I had not great past lives with boats and water. LOL. Thanks, Janet. Yeah. Yeah. There's that. Yeah. So you can clear that stuff. I mean, to a certain extent. So, uh, but yeah. I know some clients, they've said like the water stuff, like this background that I have right now, that it's okay because they see the land. But if it was only water, like there's a different one I have. I don't know if I can find it, but maybe I got rid of it. But it was like only water. And it was like the waves on only water, and you didn't see any land in the shot. And that, for people that have drowning phobias from past life trauma, it's like, it's not fun. It's like not soothing at all to only see water everywhere for those people. That's why you'll notice if I have water imagery, there's also land prominently in the in the image. So you're definitely not alone with past life trauma that's not yet fully cleared about water. Someone says, thank you for the feedback. Random question. Do our angels and spirit guides have names? They can. Yeah, you can figure out your angels and your spirit guides' names. It's not like they have an absolute name necessarily. It's that they're very flexible about it, and you can work with them to come up with names that they like and you like. So yeah, I used to do that in individual sessions. I used to, I would like read, okay, you have 3 angels or 4 angels, and read like suggested names, like 5 maybe suggested names that the angels suggest that they think also you might like, and then you pick one of them, and so then you end up with a set of all your angel names and your spirit guide's name. But you can do it for yourself. Just have them suggest a bunch of names and pick the favorite name for each angel and your spirit guide. Typically, people that are old enough to take my stuff seriously and not be really turned off by it, they have 3 or 4 personal angels. You may have a 5th, like that's a special assignment angel that's there for like a certain part of your life, or you could have a 5th angel because maybe you're an energy healer by profession or something, or a doctor by profession. So it helps you with your work in an extra way but the regular angels can help with all that too, and they're matched to what you need in this life, your angels. So, and they're real angels. They're not just like grandma, who's awesome, of course, and in heaven, and she can help too. But angels are angels. They're actually just angels. They're not human being spirits. Spirit guide is a human being spirit, of course. Didn't cheat the banner. Okay. So your spirit guide is a human being spirit that's in between lifetimes and volunteered to be somebody's spirit guide, and then the angels paired them up with you. Sometimes you get different spirit guides in your lifetime, like you have one and then you get a different one. The angels give you a different one. But sometimes, probably most of the time, you have the same spirit guide your whole. And your spirit guide, the purpose of your spirit guide, it's like an angel, but they're not angels, of course, but so you can hear them better. Like it's easier to hear them because they're a human being spirit, so they're not as like, sacred and all that. Because sometimes you're just stuck in some anger or some depression or whatever, and so it's like you're not listening to the right radio station, telepathically. And so a human being spirit, like your spirit guide, can be like, look, you're late, go to bed, or you forgot this, whereas your angels were trying to tell you for like 5 hours or 5 days something, and it hasn't filtered through all the grief or all whatever your mind is saddled with, but your spirit guide, they can get through the mess easier, with their communication, not in an invasive way, but they can be on all the radio stations that you can be on, like as far as hearing. So I hope that makes sense. When I try to figure out if they do, the name Jessica always comes to mind. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the name your spirit guide is mentioned for herself. But again, if you don't like Jessica, she's a human being spirit, so she'd be less flexible than angels. But even she could pick a couple extra names if you prefer a different one than Jessica. Like, because sometimes an angel will suggest one and they don't realize that, you had a frenemy in second grade that had that name, and so, you can negotiate names that that you like, and you will be able to remember. You can write them down too, of course, but it helps if they're somewhat easier to remember names for you. Okay, but if you don't want to remember names, just say angels, or spirit guide, but I don't know. I think names are more fun than that. All right. So let's see what else. Hi, Janet. Thanks. Help in the past 15-minute curse beings showed up. Do you know why? Thanks. Thanks. Help in the past 15 minutes. You know what you could do? I mean, you can have them recycled. But I think why the timing of it is I think that there was some stuff that you were about to clear. And that the more you clear, the more present you get, the stronger you are. And, curse beings, the whole point of curses is to screw you up, to hold you back, to hold you down, to keep you weak and oppressed, right? So what you can do to kind of make curses less powerful, less effective with you anyway, is to keep clearing rad blocks, resistance, avoidance, and denial blocks. So anything that you're putting off, go for it, as long as it's healthy and gentle. But anything you're putting off, get it all out in front of you. Say, angels, can you double check, make sure this is all healthy and gentle, and then clear it. Become a very determined energy block clearer. Because that way that, you'll be sort of taking control of your growth. Because if there's too much that you're avoiding and putting off clearing, then it just makes you overly vulnerable to whatever forces are trying to manipulate you at any time. Because it's like, it's just, you want to go from both fronts. You want to ask your angels to recycle the invasive beings that just showed up, or the curse maintaining beings that just showed up. But B, you want to, make yourself less of an easy mark by keep clearing your rad blocks. Resistance, avoidance, and denial blocks. Anything that you're resisting, anything you're avoiding, anything you're in denial about, put it out in front of you. Double check with the angels that it's healthy and gentle. Get your angels to recycle any invasive beings hooked into it, and then clear it. Keep doing that to the extent that's healthy and gentle every day. Hope that makes sense. Someone says hi with some very pretty emojis. Thank you so much. Someone says, yeah, that helped actually. A really good reminder. Thank you for sharing. Oh, about my past love life trials and tribulations. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes learning is not always so graceful. But the point is, sooner or later you learn. And that's the point. That's the good part. Someone says, I think my subconscious money goals were just to understand my budget better and pay closer attention to what I'm spending versus savings. Yeah, I think you're right on the money. I think there was something energetically about, your goals overall and just what you were working on in this year that, the goals that you really had with your angels on an astral level, you achieved like 93% of them. It's just that consciously, when you made goals, which is good to do, you were not realizing, what was going to happen politically and, socially and, in your city and all that. And so you didn't know the dynamics. And so you thought, well, this will be a healthy goal for me. But it turns out that, slightly smaller and different goals were the actual goal, and which, like we said, you mostly achieved. Yeah. So I agree with your read on it. So it says, I feel like someone and then an invasive being come and block my foot chakras. I clear them out by running my feet and I feel the heaviness leave. Why would someone block foot chakras? Why not? I mean, why would someone block any chakra? Be a jerk. Yeah, I mean, feet chakra. You have your kidney meridians start in the sole of your foot. You could look up like what kidney 1 helps with, the first point of the kidney meridian. Maybe that's something. But I mean, you don't really have to overanalyze it. It's just people are being invasive. You can look at how do you act and how self-assertive are you with your feet chakra blocked, and then how do you act and how self-assertive are you with your feet chakra unblocked. And maybe they prefer the version of you that you are with your feet chakra blocked. Oh, maybe you're more confused, less decisive, more accommodating to everyone in the world, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's just one of a zillion ways to manipulate. So yeah, I wouldn't, you can look at you one way versus you the other way. But beyond that, I wouldn't really try to get some super deep meaning out of it. Just realize that, that's what someone aims for, and, unblock your feet chakra. I mean, and too, look at your auras underneath there, because it could be that, first what happens is your grounding blocks a little, like particularly the core part, and then the bottoms of your auras block a little bit, and then they're able to block up here, but if this is all flowing regularly, then it doesn't seem like they can really do much to, so it's more like, invasive people will show you where your weaknesses are, that's their gift. Is to show you where you're imbalanced, where you're weak, the areas that you're sort of neglecting in your space. They will show you that. So, what you learn from that person is that, that sometimes the core of your grounding blocks for like a day and a half and you don't do anything about it. And then sometimes the bottom of your auras block for a day and a half and you don't do anything about it. And then eventually they are able to get in and block this up. So it just shows you that, that was a kind of a blind spot in your regular maintenance, is the core of your grounding and the bottom of your auras just unblocking. So, I think that would be a more fruitful way to look at it. Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? What's my weakness that I haven't realized that they're consistently able to do this? Hope that makes sense. Okay, so now we could do a pet update, which I think would be kind of interesting this time. Well, if you're an animal person, probably all the pet updates are. So let's see. Okay, so I'll do the Izzy update first. So there's kind of a good news, bad news with Izzy. He's fine, but Izzy is our dog, Beagle, senior Beagle, who is right under the counter here on a dog bed. He's a senior Beagle. I don't know how old he is right now. Yeah, I forget. I'm going to say he's 11. But he has epilepsy, and because he's a former laboratory experiment dog. He's a rescue from I don't know if he was from a pharmaceutical company. They don't, but a lot of different places do animal experimentation, unfortunately. So anyway, we got him from a rescue that specializes in rehabilitating animals that were used in rescues, in lab experiments. So those pets, they never have a normal life while they're they're like bred for that purpose, and then they grow up in a cage, the whole time, getting experimented on or whatever happens to them. So we had 3 beagles with that history, which is not wise, by the way. You should have one of those pets, and then you should have 1 or 2 others that have more of a normal, healthy upbringing, so that they balance out the one that had to go through all that. But no, we had all 3 being laboratory experiment survivors. So they all drove each other crazy and drove us crazy. But Izzy's those other 2 were much older, so they have since passed away. They had decent lives with us, and but anyway, so Izzy, he has seizures, and he has to get medication around the clock every 8 hours, and but he gets nauseous and he licks things, and then when he vomits, and he's always had that issue, but now when he's on this, he didn't used to be on the medication for seizures. Like, he would have seizures very infrequently, but then it got more frequent as he got older. And then but we're realizing that he the stomach issues, he'll start licking everywhere, and then he'll vomit. It actually is potentially a pre-seizure thing. So it goes with the epilepsy. It's like an epilepsy thing, not a pure digestion issue. It's an epilepsy thing. So that's kind of interesting. Not that there's a fix for that we know of. It might just be the way it is. But I mean, I guess on the upside, now that it's winter, well, it's like late fall, he doesn't have many food allergies. I mean, he doesn't have many allergies, it seems like. Like, we put the cone on him so he can't overlick himself if we're not going to be able to monitor him. But now, if we can monitor him, we don't need to put a cone on him, as long as he doesn't have to, like, go outside to use the restroom, like to go to the bathroom. For some reason, when he has to go to the bathroom, it makes him overgroom himself instead of being like, hey, just take me outside. So whatever. Well, when we can monitor him, he's fine. He doesn't have to wear the cone. So that's nice. That's an upside thing. The downside is he gets really nauseous and sick, like maybe once a week at this point. So, but it is what it is. A dog with epilepsy, you get really interesting things like that happen. But he's peacefully sleeping right now, and he has this demeanor where things don't bother him as much. Like, we had, one of the other 2 dogs who since has passed away, he didn't have that same demeanor. I think because he was in a cage for 8 years instead of 2.5. Izzy was only in the laboratory for 2.5 years. So Izzy has this ability to kind of shrug off things, unless he's, doing his pre-seizure thing. But otherwise, it just things don't bother him. It's his gift. So that's Izzy. So, given the realities that he has, he's doing well, I would say. I mean, some things you just can't change with him. But, he's happy otherwise. So that's good. So the other update we have, you saw Felix just for a moment there, go in there. That's my husband's new kitten. And then we have Boo Boo Kitty, who's our indoor only. All our cats are indoor only, but she's feral, Boo Boo Kitty. We didn't know that when we tricked her into coming in the house, but she's happy here, so they're still not in the same place at the same time without us managing it, because we don't know but anyway, but the update is not about those 2, our indoor only cats. The update is about Orson. So Orson is the cat that we tried to adopt before Felix the kitten, and we had him in the house for 2 weeks. He's the cat that's always outside. It's a big overweight cat. I'm gonna see if I have a photo of him still. Oh yeah, I do. Okay. So this is Orson. That was like right after we brought him in the house. And that's my husband Lorenzo, who, just in his defense, he was not ready for a photo at the time. He was just having a bonding moment with Orson. So that was the first time Orson just kind of warmed up to him. It was like 2 hours after we brought him in the house. And Orson's such a love bug. So anyway, if you follow all the pet updates, you already know that we were not able to keep Orson as our indoor only pet because we brought him to the vet after 2 weeks of having him in the house, and they found a microchip that, in him that said that the owner, that he already had an owner, and the owner turns out lives up the street from us, who is technically probably a cat hoarder, between you, me, and YouTube. And so that cat hoarder guy kind of didn't care that his cat is always on our property, like even late at night, even in the rain, even in the cold, and not over in his house. He's like, well, he must like it, and he wouldn't let us make him an indoor only cat in our house. He's like, no, that's imprisoning him and blah, blah, blah. Even though Orson is 6 years old, apparently, and he also has asthma, whatever. So it was kind of, it's a little sad, but there are realities that you can't change. And I mean, unless we just stole him and then denied that we had him, which would be illegal, or convince someone else to steal him and give him a good home. But as it is, so Orson's outside all the time. I mean, he can go to that cat hoarder's house apparently whenever he wants. He just doesn't want, because there's so many cats, I guess, at that guy's house. So the good news part of it. So that was the history. So that was Orson history. So then now, the good news part. Okay, so he's still outside though. He doesn't have a forever indoor only home, unfortunately. But the good news is 2 things. One, probably won't happen till hopefully by the end of the year, but maybe sometime in January. I ordered this really deluxe custom built cat house for Orson that'll go in the front of our house, like up against the house, because that's where he is these days. Because out here it rains so much that most of the houses have these big roofs that overhang like about 1.5 feet, so that right directly under your house, just next to your house, it doesn't get wet because the giant eaves of the roof, and so he snuggles up against the house, our house, like right out there, even at night. Not always, I guess, but a lot of the time. So that breaks our heart. We worry about him out there in the danger with the coyotes potentially and other animals and the cold and wind and everything, right? And the rain. So I got him this custom built house. I ordered it. I purchased it. And quite expensive, but whatever. The angel said, go for it. So I went for it. And it's going to be so deluxe, and it's going to be safe enough for him so that if a coyote tries to get him, there's an exit where he could get underneath my husband's car, and then a coyote can't get him from under there. And also the house is really very sturdy. So if he stayed in the house, the coyote wouldn't be able to get him. So that's good. Because if you get him like a flimsy house, then he could be, he could feel safe, but not actually be safe enough. And a coyote could come and damage and, harm him sleeping, right? So this way he can sleep and truly be safe while he's sleeping in the house when it finally is finished and shipped to us. Get it. So that's very exciting. And then in the meantime, his house isn't ready yet. They have to build it and send it. So I put out there I have this 2-inch thick rubber foam garden kneeler. It's kind of big, and it's really thick and spongy, and it's black. And I put that, it's to kneel down when you're gardening. And it wasn't cheap, you know, because it's 2 inches thick. It's pretty deluxe. And I got it, you know, for myself. And I put that for him underneath the house where he normally is. And I did it yesterday, and I put a trail cam pointed at it. And so he spent all night there, like sleeping on the little cushion, the foam cushion. And it's good because it's not fabric. So it's not going to absorb water and then freeze in the cold. It's just, you know, rubber foam. And so he liked it, which is totally cool. I don't know if he's there now, but I can check on the trail cam because the trail cam is on our network. So I don't think it's going to get in the way of the stream if I check. I don't know if, because sometimes you have to go right up to the window for it to make connection with the trail cam. So we'll see if I can do it from my seat. That would be nice. Yeah, it looks like I'll be able to do it. Then I can tell you right now if he's out there on the cushion or not. Anyway, so at least he's on a softer cushion now. You know, that'll be a little less heartbreaking. Oh, yeah, he's out there. He's out there. Oh, little baby boy. Oh, he's lying on his side on the cushion. It's hard to see because the night vision of the camera, it just only will show you so much, but if you can see that. So if you look, you're seeing the side of the house. And then if you look, there's like a bumpiness on the ground. Because otherwise you would just see the side of the house is like a cream color. And then you would just see this flat line for the edge of the bottom of the siding, but you don't see a flat. Oh, see, there his eyes. You saw his eyes just then, right? So that was him looking up at the camera because the camera starts blinking when you're looking. And if you're not looking, it doesn't blink. So he kind of notices like, oh, that thing is blinking now. You know, but he's used to it. Anyway, you just saw his eyes. That's so cool. So that's live. That's like right in this moment. That's him. So you can see he's there because there's this little dark bump right there. You know, there's the cream colored siding of the house, and then there's the dark bump. That's him. So anyway, isn't that cool? So that's good. I mean, you know, he's not obviously as safe as but he's near my husband's, you know, car, so he could run under it if he had to, which I think is what he does. If he, you know, if there's something like an Amazon driver or something that spooks him maybe, or, you know, an animal. But anyway, so that's that. So that's good news, you know, until the house gets here. Because I can't, you know, they have other houses like on Amazon that I could have gotten much faster, but they're not as sturdy or as warm. So they're not as safe because of the sturdiness. And so I didn't want to get him one that wasn't good enough, you know, because I didn't want to endanger him, you know. So we'll see. Hopefully, I'm hoping that we don't have like super wet and windy weather between now and when his house gets here. Oh, and it's kind of cute. The house is going to have a custom made, you can make a little, they put, you have this you have all these options, which is how it became so expensive. But one of the options they have is to, you know, they'll engrave a custom little sign for the house, and then you screw it on wherever you want on the house. And it's going to say, "Love thy neighbor's cat." Because I mean, I don't care about the Bible, like personally, but you know, like little phrases from the Bible, a lot of people are aware of them. So I guess love thy neighbor is, you know, maybe one of the commandments, you know, I guess. And so love thy neighbor, right? So I wrote love thy, so they're going to write love thy neighbor's cat, you know, because it's for him, our neighbor's cat. So anyway, I'm going to be so happy when he finally, and I'm going to be able to fit a camera inside there. So I'll be able to watch him from in his house. Plus there'll be windows on the house. So he'll be able to look out, like insulated windows. So he'll be able to look out and see, but still be safe. They're plexiglass. So like if a coyote attacks, they won't be able to break it. You know, like it won't shatter or anything. So anyway, so it's something good for Orson. At least now he has his cushion. And hopefully by the end of the year or soon after that, he'll have his own house. And he'll be able to stretch out and relax in there and sleep peacefully and safely, which is what he deserves. I mean, he deserves a safe, warm home too, but so I always pray to the angels. Now I just say, angels, can you help him have the safest and most satisfying life possible? Alrighty, so that's good enough. So quick sales, just repeating that kind of stuff that most people already know, but in case you don't. So jwhealing.com is my website address, and my email address is janet@jwhealing.com. So if you're new to my work, you're still super invited to buy a set of healings if you wish. They're sliding scale. If you can't afford the standard rate, there are lower rates that are hopefully affordable for you, and you can pick whatever's affordable for you. And then you can email me and introduce yourself. I would be happy to work with you. And of course, if I haven't worked with you in a while, I'm also happy to work with you. And all the people I work with all the time, of course, I'm happy to work with you. And you can also get a subscription if you want, which many people do. The majority of people that I'm healing in all these healings, they have subscriptions. But I always allot plenty for people who just buy manually sets here and there as well. So either way, whatever works for you is fine with me. And you can also just learn and never get healings from me either. But the healings are designed so that they can enhance your learning experience. So even if your focus is learning and getting better at self-healing, getting the healings may be an asset to you in that pursuit. But you can think about that and reflect on your own and make your own decisions with that. Let's see. Oh, we have some comments about Orson again. So let's see. Someone says, thanks for answering my questions without asking. Love your work. Thanks again. You're welcome. And this is the 4th live stream of the month. And so the next one, the final one for the month, is this Sunday, the 23rd of November. And the schedule for all the themes and dates is on my website. There's a page called Themes, and it'll show all the upcoming themes and dates through January. Oh, and if you wanted to get my news emails, there's a contact page on the website, or you can just email me straight and just say, can you send me your news emails? Those are the emails I send out every month on the 15th, just to say, hey, I just put up the healing sets for this month, and that's what the theme is going to be, blah, blah, blah. I put up sets 2 months ahead of time. Okay. Someone says, "Aw, that's great news about what you're doing for Orson. Yay." Someone says, "I love that Orson gets an outside house since he can't be your cat." Yeah. Yeah, me too. And they say don't feed him in or near the house, because his house, because that will that can attract predators. So plus he goes back to the hoarder's house for food. I mean, that's why he's so giant. That the hoarder guy, I guess, free feeds everybody and puts out a ton of crappy food for everybody. And I guess they have to eat at the same time as a bunch of raccoons and whatever else comes up to eat it. So that's maybe why he eats too much, is because he feels like nervous eating around everybody, that he's not going to get enough food or something. But anyway, so we probably won't be feeding him because he has access to more than enough food, too much food already. But yeah, it's gonna be awesome. That's what he's missing, is the safe place, because he just wants to nap all day. That's what we tried to explain to the hoarder guy, but he wouldn't listen. Someone says, "Aw, love that name for Orson's house." Yeah. The little banner. "Love thy neighbor's cat. Thank goodness you can take care of him. He clearly needs it." Yeah. Yeah. Because normally you would put straw inside the house and to keep them warm. And there's like, you get longer straw, so it has less dust. But we can't do that with him because he has asthma. So I just, that's another reason why I paid for this like super deluxe house, because it has better um, insulation in it, so that it'll still be warm for him even though there's no straw in it. So yeah, I think it's the best we can do for him, but I keep praying, so you never know what the angels make happen in the future, but yeah, this seems to be what I can do, and the angel said go for it, so I feel relieved that I did. And to be able to see him on the camera whenever I want is pretty priceless. I mean, whenever he's there. You too. It's been fun. Alrighty. You're amazing. Alrighty, so take care. You're so amazing. Let's see. Oh, should I show Felix at the end? Yeah, I should show Felix. I don't even know where he is. Lorenzo, if Felix is with you, can you bring him out? But if he's out here, I'm going to look for him. We found him. See him right on the top there? On the peach colored blanket? Oh, such a cute little baby. I'm going to pick him up and bring him close to the camera. Bye. Here he is. This is Felix, Lorenzo's kitten. He's wondering if I'm about to feed him, and that's why I picked him up. He's like, you got some food? Such a cutie. Alrighty. So, well, I'll show him the butterflies on the screen. Maybe he'll like that. He's not so interested. Okay. You're amazing. Bye.